You're watching the Sports LB. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. All right. So I talked about this guy on a multitude of videos, and I've been one of the ones that have been saying for the longest that James Harden is the it factor when it matters least and the shit factor when it matters most. Now, a couple days ago, James Harden was over in China, and he made the proclamation that he was never going to play for Daryl Morey ever again. This is in light of James Harden feeling betrayed by his BFF. Because remind you, all this stems over money and the longevity of the contract. James Harden basically wanted the Supermax. Daryl Morey told him no, you ain't gonna get the Supermax. And I think it has more to do with the Sixers organization basically telling Daryl Morey that he's not going to telling Daryl Morey to not give James Harden that Supermax long-term contract. That's what I really think is happening here, especially considering that James Harden will put up gaudy numbers in the regular season, but when you need James Harden to come through, and when you need James Harden to play at his best, he has shown that he is not up for the challenge. He has consistently shown that. Because what do I always say? What's up, Gideon? What do I always say? You make your money in the regular season, but you make your legacy in the postseason. And when you tell the postseason story of James Harden, it is littered with playoff futility. People know James Harden for the games he did not show up for more than the game that he did show up for. Think about that. When you talk about James Harden's playoff legacy, you talk about the games that he has performed a literal Houdini at. You don't. People hardly talk about the playoff game that James Harden be like, oh man, James Harden out there doing the damn thing. No, you talk about all the games where you're talking about that game 6 where when he was the member of the Houston Rockets and they lost by 39 to the San Antonio Spurs, or more recently in game 6 where you were up 3-2 on the Boston Celtics. The role players are going out there performing, but their two biggest stars, including James Harden, not performing, which allowed Boston to end up winning that series because they really didn't show up in Game 7. Now we can go on and on and on, but this is where we at when it comes to James Harden. Now he's not getting his way because he forced his way out of Houston. He forced his way out of Brooklyn. Right? When things got tough in Brooklyn, he don't want nothing to do with that. He out of there. So he forced his way out of Brooklyn to go to Philadelphia. Now things are getting tough in Philadelphia. Now we got a new coach, and now he's not getting what he wants. So now he want to be up out of there. And it's not like 10 years ago when you was at a prime James Harden, when you was out there giving folks that work. James Harden, you up there approaching your mid-30s and all that. And you ain't got no championships, no cachet to show for it. You can't be out here making these kind of power moves when you ain't got no hardware to show for it. See, people get on LeBron James and all that, but at least LeBron James has provided the hardware. He has shown that he can lead a team to the NBA Finals and win the championship. He's done that on 4 occasions. Yeah, he got 6 finals losses, but the fact of the matter is he's gotten there. James Harden has never led a team to the NBA Finals. He might have played in one NBA Finals when he was coming off the bench for OKC, but he's never led a team to the NBA Finals. So you can't win the NBA Finals if you haven't played in the NBA Finals. And he calls himself running around out here trying to make all these power moves when he don't have the cachet to show for it. Nah, man. Nah. And then Daryl Morey, you would think how Daryl Morey moves. Daryl Morey gonna go block for block with James Harden. So you think he gonna sit at there and talk about, well, I'm gonna hold out and all that? All right, you got another thing coming if you think you're gonna hold out. Because you're playing a very dangerous game, and that two-legged Rottweiler Kendrick Perkins spilled the beans on that, basically saying that if he holds out, because you know the CBA rules are different now. The CBA rules are different now. You just can't call yourself, but you ain't gonna play, and you ain't gonna do this, and you ain't gonna do that. Any kind of without any kind of without any kind of punitive actions coming your way. It's just not going to happen like that. James Harden could run the risk of being out of the NBA. He's running that risk of being out of the NBA, especially when you got these teams that are getting younger, teams, looking for more upside. They don't want no grizzled old vet on the downside of his career trying to, play politics with this stuff all because he's not getting his way. And sitting up here trying to force all kinds of trade demands and stuff like that, all because he's not getting his money. So my thing is this. What's up, O. Henry? My thing is this, right? Because, we always want to put it on the coach but more often than not, because what doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion, is that the coach can implement a game plan, but the star player ignores the game plan, starts doing his old thing, starts, screwing up in crucial moments and all that, and yet the coach gets fired. This man literally cost Doc Rivers his job because of his inability to perform when it matters most. And he made no bones about it. He, along with Joel Embiid, cost Doc Rivers his job. Now, instead of Doc Rivers being on the sideline for the Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers is going to be doing commentary on NBA Count, or not NBA Countdown. He's going to be doing commentary alongside Doris Burke and Mike Breen as #1 broadcast team on ESPN. No thanks in part to James Harden. What's up, Jonathan McFarland? Salute to you, bro. Good to see all y'all. I really do appreciate y'all tuning in on this late night. Now, if you want to donate to my YouTube channel, there's my Cash App, there's my PayPal. Any and all donations are appreciated and accepted. But yeah, this is where we at with James Harden, man. I don't feel sorry for him not one bit. I don't feel sorry for him one bit at all, because this is the hill he wants to die on. That's the hill he wants to die on. Now, coming from the Philadelphia Inquirer, and this was back in August 14th, it says that the 76ers has a serious problem, one that's not likely to be ending anytime soon. James Harden did bite his tongue when speaking about his disdain for 76ers president Daryl Morey. He said that Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of a position that he's part of. Harden said at his event while in China. He said, "Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar and never be part of an organization that he's part of." The video will surface Monday morning comes word after word broke Saturday that the Sixers have ended trade talks involving Harden. They plan on bringing him back for the start of the season. However, there's a report Saturday night that he does not plan on attending training camp. And a YouTube video appears to confirm that. The Sixers, however, are unmoved by Harden's statement, and they still expect him to report to camp. Now, a league source said that Morey was not surprised by Harden's commentary and his attempt to make things personal, given his agent's reaction this past weekend to being informed that the Sixers weren't able to find a suitable deal. Training camp begins October 3rd, with the Sixers likely training at a remote destination for the second consecutive year. They open the season against the Milwaukee Bucks. They go to Milwaukee on October 24th. They got a Christmas Day game at the Miami Heat. And Harden is in the final year of his deal, so that way he cannot negotiate an extension. That means the Sixers can penalize him if he refuses to go to camp. If he refuses to show up for camp, the Sixers can penalize him for that. Oh, I'm right there with you, Jonathan. I'm right there with you. I've never been a James Harden fan neither. And because the Sixers brass saw what it was. This man can't get it done. He cannot get it done when it matters most. Because, see, the 76ers were supposed to be playing in the NBA Finals last year. They had all the momentum, especially when they were up 3-2. I was one of the ones that were advocating for the Sixers to beat the Celtics, and they proved me wrong. No thanks in part to this man right here. And now he's trying to play hardball because he's not getting his max contract. And let's just face it, teams ain't trying to, give up what Daryl Morey's trying to give up. Look, Daryl Morey's out here trying to get a king's ransom for goddamn on James Harden. Let's just be honest about it. He was trying to get a king's ransom for James Harden. And nobody's willing to budge. Nobody's willing to budge. Not the Clippers, because that was the team he was most linked to. But what do the Clippers get out of trading for him? And yeah, he's an LA native and all that, but what do the Clippers get out of trading for him? So as far as I'm concerned, this whole thing with James Harden, man, you know what I'm saying? He playing a dangerous game. So he need to put down them Twinkies. He think he could show up to camp looking like he been indulging in a big bucket of Popeyes and Bojangles and all that, and Stouffer's honey buns. He got another thing coming. I'm pretty sure that the Sixers are going to want to make sure that James Harden don't pull any kind of stunt come October when they report the training camp. So he calling himself talking about, oh, I'm not going to show up to camp. Okay. And you in the last year of your deal? Okay. We'll see. We shall see. We should see what happens if James Harden decides that, you know what? Because out in Philadelphia, one thing Philadelphia has no shortage of is a lot of strip clubs, a lot of and a lot of them strip clubs, some of them porn stars be at too. Like Roxy Reynolds. Roxy Reynolds is a Philadelphia native. Don't ask me how I know that. So don't be surprised if James Harden takes his talents to one of them old nasty swanky titty bars out there in Philadelphia. Just because he didn't want to report to camp. And truth be told, I don't think the Sixers going to miss James Harden. Like the fan base is way off of him. The fan base is way off James Harden right now, especially how they played last year in the playoffs. Man, they're way off of James Harden. I mean, so if we go back to that trade, right, with Ben Simmons going to Brooklyn and James Harden come to Philadelphia, did either team really win? Did either team really win that trade? Nobody won that trade. Nobody won that trade at all, if you ask me. And then suppose James Harden do come back to Philadelphia, right? And I'm telling you, because I've seen this movie before, it's gonna be the same thing. What's up, King Twister 8? You say Harden should go to China to play basketball. Hey, who knows, man? Hey, he might get the Stephon Marbury treatment. He won a couple championships, or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? He created his own shoe line out there. And then who knows? He might get a statue out there in China, like Stephon Marbury. You know, because Starberry sell over there like how Jordan sell over here. Now, look, just because I'm cooking on James Harden, I don't want no Bama like Enos Kanter thinking he could just jump right in. Enos Kanter, or what? Or should I call you Anisha Kanter? Whatever you want to call yourself to make you feel good, I don't care. But I know one thing: Enos Kanter better not call himself running his mouth by James Harden, because you don't got that right, sir. You don't got that right. Because James Harden, as much as I don't like him on the basketball court, he still is a U.S. citizen, and I will take him over your ass any day of the week. So no, Enos Kanter, I don't. If I hear you running your mouth about James Harden, I'm a, I'm gonna put my proverbial foot in your ass, Enos Kanter. You can't even go back to your country. How can I go to goddamn on Turkey, but you can't? Make that make sense. How can I go over there, eat your food, buy Turkish rugs, you know, buy Turkish leather, fuck the Turkish women and all that, but you can't go back over there without the government being on that ass. Make that make sense. Anyway, but you guys let me know what y'all think about this with James Harden, right? Um, like I said, he calling him trying to make all these power moves, but he ain't got the cachet, he ain't got the hard way to show for it. As far as I'm concerned, if you a declining player, well, I won't say a declining player because he's not in decline if you ask me. But if you one of them players that you are a notorious playoff choke artist, and you call yourself trying to make demands, and you call yourself trying to strong arm the organization, doing whatever you want, then you need to pay the organization back by delivering the championship. You should not be getting bounced in the second round. You should not be getting bounced in the first round. None of that stuff. You need to be repaying the organization back with some hardware. And unfortunately for James Harden, he's been on 4 different teams. Whether it been OKC, whether it been Houston, whether it been um, Brooklyn, and now Philadelphia. He has not shown that he can deliver the goods when it matters most. And then the way he's trying to strong arm the organization, that's what's going to get him in hot water. That's what's going to get him in hot water. So we just have to see what happens with this as the days and weeks pass by. Um, if you're not subscribing to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Last but definitely not least, shouts out to the Lions Den basketball community. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Sorry I hadn't been on as much as I normally have. Got a lot going on personally at the moment. So So bear with me as I navigate through these troubled times in my personal life. And I'm gonna catch y'all in another video. This your man. Scream at me. Oh.